Welcome back, guys. If you're new to this channel, my name's Alex, and I'm on a journey to create financial freedom through creative real estate investing. So if you're on that same path, be sure to subscribe right now so that you don't miss out on any good content, which I share for free. And in this video, I am going to share my expired call script. So recently I began calling expireds. It's a pretty similar script to my fsbo or even frbo script with some little nuances, which I'm going to go over. As you can see here, I just basically bullet points. I use bullet points instead of kind of going into more detail like I did with my other scripts. So if you want to see more, words or actual phrases that I use, then go back to those videos. This one's just going to be more of an outline as far as the difference with the expired script. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I do, first off, the way I contact the expired is I send a voice blast. I use slide broadcast to send out a message, and leads come back. So I either see a missed call or a voicemail from them, and then from there I follow up. So what I do when I call them is I want to find out if the property is still available. Well, I should say I want to know if they're still interested in selling it. Because it went expired, or it went canceled, or it went withdrawn, right? So either way, it was previously on the market with a realtor, and then it didn't sell. So sometimes that could be they decided not to sell. Sometimes maybe their plans changed, and that's what I need to know. So the first step is to find out if they're still interested in selling it. Okay, pretty simple. Once I know that they're still interested in selling it, then I go into my agenda as far as who I am, why I'm calling, and I then get permissions to ask questions, right? So we buy homes in the area. We buy about one a month, and I would just have some questions about the house to see if it's a good fit, right? That's my statement on the way I phrase it to get right into the questions. And then the questions are pretty similar. Again, I always start off with the condition of the home. I want to get them talking. I want to know if the home needs work. I want to know really just to build rapport. So the first question I ask is on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the condition of it? And then they start going into the home and telling me the story on it and any repairs I might need. And then usually what I do from there is it's a good transition to get into the reason for selling. But with expireds, keep in mind, it was previously on the market. So I want to get their feedback as to why it didn't sell. So that's usually my next question is, great, well, I noticed this was previously on the market, so just curious. Did you get any feedback as to why it didn't sell? Or did your agent give you any feedback as to why it didn't sell? And then usually what they do from there is get into what they think, So usually they might blame the agent, right? So it kind of, which is usually true, right? Not agents do their job. Not agents either price it correctly or they don't do the marketing as much, and the agent just didn't get the job done point blank, right? Sometimes it's a house problem, but I usually find that out if the condition was really good. Then I'm like, all right, well, since it was in good condition, did you get any feedback as to why it didn't sell? And it's always a price issue. The reason why a house doesn't sell is because they want it too much, right? Every house will sell for the right price at the end of the day. And it could be also a marketing issue, right? The agent just didn't do their job, right? With the open house or whatever the case may be, I want to get their feedback on that. And if it's an agent problem, then usually that's a good thing. It means that they probably don't want to relist with another agent. And that's why I don't recommend. It's a tough call for a lot of these agents to call expireds for that reason, right? They've already tried it with an agent. They're not a fan of agents. They've already been through the ringer, right? Now they just want someone to solve their problem in the quickest, easiest way possible, right? And that's where we come in. So now that they're giving me their feedback as to why it didn't sell, kind of iron out their laundry, right? Now I go into great. Well, I don't say great. I usually lead that. Well, I'm just curious. Since the house was in pretty good condition, it's in an area that we like. Is there a particular reason that you're looking to sell it at this time, right? So that's usually how I lead there. And then it's pretty much the same thing across the board with the for sale by owner call, right? Once they give me their reason or however deep we get into that, I usually follow up with, well, if we were to come to an agreement, Mr. Seller, when would you be looking to move ideally, right? And what that's going to give me is their time frame. It's going to let me know if they're still living in the house. I should already know that by now. But if I didn't know, that's going to let me know if whether it's owner occupied, whether the house is vacant, whether it's tenant occupied, which you need to know. And if it's owner occupied, when are they looking to move, right? What's their time frame to achieve their goal of their reason for selling? Maybe it's to move to Florida. Maybe whatever the reason is, I want to know their time frame for that. And then we get into price after that. Go to price. And what I try to get with price, I want to find out their net number that they're looking at the end of the day. So what I do is I look back to where the house was listed at. Let's say if it was listed at 300, right? A 5% commission. We'll call it 15K. Jeez, I hope that's right. But we'll just use simple numbers. So let's say after commissions, they're getting at 285, right? So usually what I say, well, I noticed it was listed at 300, so after commissions, it sounds like you were hoping to net somewhere around the 285 ballpark. Does that sound right? And then, they follow up with yes or no or so be it, and we kind of get to a net number. And once I know their net number that they're happy netting, then I go into that lease purchase questions. Well, if we were to come to an agreement on your price, Mr. Seller, would you be open to doing that on a lease purchase or other terms, right? And then a lot of times I don't know what that is or whatever specifically what I mean by that. So then I go into that. And then I mentioned that, it's usually not a good fit if you need all your equity out today. So is this a situation where you might need your equity to go buy another house, or could you wait a little bit? And that's going to tell me if they might be open to some terms, right? And then from there, now we should know by now if they're a suspect or a prospect. And if they're a suspect, I might just send them a form letter. Hey, if anything changes, then feel free to give me a call back. But if they're a prospect, I'm going to get their email, and I'm going to shoot them an email with more of my company information, what we do, what we specialize in. I might send them a proposal, and then we'll follow up from there. So that's the expired script. I know I went through that relatively quickly compared to the other videos, but that's because I've already done the other videos, and it's pretty similar to the expired script. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Once again, I post live calls every single Friday. Those live calls go private by Sunday, so to get access to those, you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to hit that notification button. And once again, thank you for watching. Look out for the next one.